I don't think we had done that before.
I'm pretty sure we did.
All right, so we are live now. We wanted to just do a quick reboot because we don't know, we were having a few some technical difficulties with the audio and the video. We want to say hi to everybody that's joining us. This is Shirley Solis and Alexis Solis, and during the next 45 minutes, we're going to be sharing with you all about how to raise a young entrepreneur. So we're going to be doing, as you guys are coming in again, we appreciate you guys coming in. Can you let us know if you can hear us and you can see us, and what state are you calling in from? We'd love to know where you're joining us, and as we check in on that, we can get started right away. Okay, so let us know where you are calling in from. In the meantime, we're also going to start a Facebook Live so that we can be interacting with those people that are watching us on Facebook. All right. Oh, this has to be like this. All right, so we'll put this right over here.
Right over there.
All right. So we are doing a live webinar on how to raise a young entrepreneur, because this light here is not good. Oh. Yeah, we could always put like
$2.
Yep.
Cool.
We're just putting up our video camera over here. Yay, Clavon. Okay, so you guys can hear us and see us. That's awesome. Very, very cool. So let me just check in a few things here. All right. Awesome. That is so great. We appreciate you guys.
Jumping in on a Monday.
Jumping in on a Monday. What have you been up to? I was gone for a whole week to Ecuador, and Alexis was here being the young entrepreneur that he is. Give me a second, you guys. We're squaring some things away. All right. Very good. Okay. Awesome. So we know we have Clavon, and I know we have some other people. And so we have a bunch of people here on Facebook with us too. So hi, you guys. We want to officially get started with the Youngpreneur webinar. This webinar, we started it, like 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been, about 3 years ago, and Alexis at that time was 15 years old. He had been making some really good money considering his age. And I just said, Alexis, why don't you take some time and let's create a program so that other children can learn what you've learned from being an entrepreneur. And Alexis is a very unique story because from the time that he was 7 years old, he has been involved with business. I don't know that you were born an entrepreneur. Like, I think now you would say that you were born an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it was. Like, it wasn't like suddenly he said, oh, I want to make money. It was something that Gus and I did to inspire and instill in him the values of having an entrepreneurship and to have life and business skills. So it all started when you were 7 years old, pretty much.
Yeah.
We've been homeschooling for 17 years, and he was homeschooled for, all his life. And I squeeze in a little bit so you can see us on the Facebook Live.
Sorry.
And he had been an entrepreneur for a really long, he had been homeschooling for a really long time by then, just probably like 3 to 4 years, but we had not done any formal math. So when we had our company, Lifetime Books and Gifts, we used to cater to the homeschooling community. And in the homeschooling community, we would sell books all over the country. Well, we always needed helpers in our booth because it was Gus and I and the 4 kids at the time. And we always needed extra helpers, extra hands with the cash register, somebody helping the customers. So what I figured is Alexis could help us with the cash register, even though he was only 7 and even though we had never done any formal math. Well, what was really cool and pretty interesting is that Alexis took off. Like, he literally learned to count, and we had a little cash register box just to play. And we started giving him money, and we would pretend that we were buying things, and he would have to give us change back for 100 or for 50. And it wasn't like the regular cash registers that would tell you how much you have to give change back. So he would have to figure it out. So he learned to count back the change. And then from there, we found that you were you just fell in love with the idea of making money, because we also paid them to work with our company. And all of that just really inspired him, and he found all these opportunities to make money. So let's talk about, like, do you remember what it felt like for you to be just 7 years old? Were you intimidated? Was it scary for you, or was it something that just came natural?
I mean, it was so long ago, that I don't really remember too much. But from what I do remember, I mean, I don't remember it being intimidating or anything like that. I just remember doing it, it was like, to me, that was the normal thing to do, like I started doing it, and that was it, So I think it was just the fact that since I started to do it so young, it was like I didn't have a background of, this is strange for a 7-year-old to be doing this, Since I started doing it already when I was younger, it was like, this is normal, like this is the thing that kids do. So
absolutely, and that's the number one thing we want to share with you guys. The number one thing that we want you to remember when you're raising a young entrepreneur is that when you start young, your children will fall in love with the idea of having their own business, or having life skills and having business skills that are going to inspire them so that they can have their own money when they get older, and they can find ways to make money. The cool thing is that we've raised all of our children in this way. Some of them have a passion to be entrepreneurs. Actually, all of them have a passion to be entrepreneurs, but they still have chosen to work for other people, of course, at certain times. But they've gotten promotions at their jobs, or they've been offered better jobs because of the fact that they learned these skills when they were young.
Yeah.
So this is very, very important. The number one thing we want you to remember is that children don't know what they don't know. They will learn, and they will pick up from anything that you're teaching them when they're young. So that's tip number one that we want to give you. Mm-hmm. All right. So then I remember, Alexis, that, I feel like your character has really, really strengthened because of the fact that you were a young entrepreneur. So tell me more about that. Like, why do you think it was so important for you character-wise, to have your own businesses at the time?
Well, I think it's just kind of like, the saying that, the saying with great, what is it?
With great responsibility? With great knowledge?
With great power comes great responsibility, So that's the same from the old Spider-Man movie. But basically, I feel like it's kind of the same thing. Mm-hmm. That it's like when you decide to step into this role of being an entrepreneur, you have to grow and kind of become this person, So I feel like your character grows just based off of like stepping into that role, So just the simple action of actually saying, all right, I'm going to start making this money. You have to become more responsible, and your character just kind of, your work ethics and everything like that just kind of shifts to play for the role that you're stepping into,
So tell me, practically speaking, like in the mindset of an 8-year-old, what did you have to give up in order to start your own business? And so, hi everyone on Facebook. Hi to everyone that's continuing to join us. If you're on Facebook, please share this video right now. We'd love it if you tell us hi, and we'd love it if you share this video. Let other people know that you're watching How to Raise a Young Entrepreneur, okay? So the question right now for Alexis is, how did, as a young 7 and 8-year-old, which is when he started to have little businesses, what were you thinking? Like, how did you have to give up? While other kids were doing one thing, they might have been playing Game Boy or something, you were doing other things.
Yeah.
Was that hard for you?
I mean, not really. For me, it was like to me, I had fun doing the things that I did, It's because the cool thing about being an entrepreneur when you're young is that you could do things that you like to do and make money that way, For example, I would just go outside, and for me, I like to build stuff. Just recently, I went outside and I forged a weapon just because I felt like it, just out of metal, forging in fire and do that stuff. So, for me, I've always liked to build stuff. So when I was younger, I would just go outside and and I would just build stuff and then sell it, you know? So it's kind of the same thing. So to me, I didn't really feel like I was giving up things to do this just because I was enjoying myself as well. However, there were kids that were just watching movies and playing video games and doing stuff inside that I would give up, I guess you could say, to make money. You know, that was my choice to give those things up. But in the end, I feel like more than giving things up, I kind of, in fact, reversed it, where the other people were giving up the things that I had, you know? Because I remember one thing I remember specifically that from being a young entrepreneur is every Sunday at church, there was always this ice cream truck that came through, right? Every single Sunday. And every single Sunday, I was the first in line buying my own ice cream. And all my friends would be like, give me money, please. I want to buy an ice cream, you know? And I say, no, man, it's my money, you know? So it's like they, week after week, didn't get ice cream. But me, because I was working and getting my money, every week I was getting what I wanted, you know? So it's kind of like, it kind of switched roles where it wasn't so much me giving up things, it was more them giving up the things.
So you had options.
Yeah, exactly.
So because you were a young entrepreneur, you had options.
Exactly.
That's awesome. And that brings me to thinking about something else. So you weren't giving up, you had options. But in addition to that, I feel like you not only had options, but you had like major options. I mean, you were like 10 years old and you were walking around typically with like $50, $75 in your pocket, $100. Like that was normal for you.
Yeah, for sure.
And so how did that feel? Like, did that boost your confidence?
Of course. Yeah, for sure. I mean, having money is like you walk into some place, you know, normally, I mean, even adults have this feeling where you walk into some kind of store and you're like, damn, I really want this, you know, this shirt or this jacket and I can't have it, you know? But it's kind of cool, especially from a younger age, to walk into some place and be like, wow, I can buy that, 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 you know, of course. So, of course, that boosts your confidence. Just like if you're an adult and you walk into a Lamborghini dealership and you're like, I can buy that car, I can buy that car. It's kind of like the equivalent of saying that, but for a 10-year-old, you know? It's like walking into a toy store and saying, I can buy that toy, I can buy that toy, I can buy that toy, you know?
But here's something really cool is that you didn't buy that and that and that. You actually had, because you had purchasing power, but you knew what it had taken you to have that money.
Yeah.
To have worked for it. So I remember the first time that we went, that you had like money and we went to the movies and we just said, okay, we'll pay for your ticket and you guys pay for your whatever snacks. And you guys went up to the counter, and as soon as you realized how much one of those snack boxes was, like $8, I think it is, back then like anyway.
$3 or something, $4.
No, a candy. For one candy.
For one candy, it's like $4 or $5.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And you just chose not to buy it.
No, definitely not.
Why didn't you buy it? You got all this money.
Well, for me, it's like I worked too hard for that money to just spend it on candy. But the other thing is that, like, I started to think in ways basically, there's something that entrepreneurs talk about. It's the supply and demand.
Right.
So basically, if you want something at that moment, you'll be willing to pay more money for it, right?
Right.
So at the moment that you're at the movie theater, you really want candy, so you'd be willing to pay more for it. However, I'd say, no, I don't want it that bad, you know, because it's like, I'd rather just go and buy it somewhere else, you know, like buy it at a dollar store or something like that, where I pay $1 instead of $5 or $6, you know? So really that's all it is. You know, I would think about it critically and say, you know what, to me, it's not worth the $5 that I had to work to get this money to buy this candy right now, you know?
And then there was something else that happened where you became very resourceful. And that's a key word. So a lot of, like, one of the big incentives that I saw in building, in raising a young entrepreneur is that Alexis and all my children became very resourceful. That's a character quality. Their work ethics really improved, character quality, their level of discipline in order to get things done. So let's talk about the discipline, for instance. Like how much because there's so many character qualities that your children will learn through having their own business. So let's talk about one of them. The first one being discipline. You had to be disciplined in order. I remember that one time that you were making marshmallow guns, and you had to package them, you had to paint them, you had to spray them. So it took a lot of discipline to go from the very beginning stages of the business all the way to completion, to where you would sell the actual merchandise and collect your money, and then the cycle just continued. So that took a lot of discipline. I also remember that it took a lot of patience, because it's not like, oh, I'm just gonna get this product and then I'm gonna sell it right now. No, it takes patience. It takes patience to know what price you're gonna sell it for. It took patience when you were building things, because you would build them and it took time to build them. To buy them the raw materials to make the marshmallow guns at the time, to package them, and just all of that took time. So it wasn't like suddenly you said, okay, I'm going to do this, and you were done. No, it took time. So there was discipline, there was definitely, and then you became resourceful, because you would find things that you had around the house or things that you knew you could get, and you said, okay, how can I make this much money from this much money, or from this much material? And this is where, remember eBay? eBay started from a very resourceful approach. So from being resourceful as a person, and you were 12 when you started eBay?
Yeah, 12 or 13.
You were 12. And we'll talk a little bit about what kind of businesses they've done, just throughout. But you were 12 years old when you started the eBay business, and you were resourceful. How that happened was basically somebody had given me some shoes. They were really nice, name brand, but they weren't my size. So I gave them to Alexis and to Nick, and I said, hey, you guys want to sell these on eBay? And they said, okay, we'll do it. So they had no money. They just had a product that hadn't cost them anything. And then you guys took that and you opened an eBay account, which now we know you have to be 18 and over to open an eBay account. So make sure that you're 18 and over to get an eBay account. And then we opened a PayPal account for them. And then you started taking pictures.
Taking pictures and selling it.
And you just started, but you went like the extra mile, because you made them look all pretty. You started staging them in the
with a background.
So that
nice pictures.
So that was, you were only 12. Like, how did you figure out to do that? Because I said, look, I can't help you. I'm just going to give you these shoes. By that time, we had invested enough in their entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship world. So I just gave him the shoes and said, here, start this business. And he ran with it. So how did it occur to you to start taking pictures and making sure that they look pretty?
I don't know. To me, it's like, to me, whenever I'm selling something, I think of what would make me want to buy this more. You know?
Okay.
That's always the thing going through my head. So one thing I always look at, two things I always look at when I'm buying something on Amazon or on eBay or whatever, I look at reviews and I look at the pictures. Okay. Because if I'm buying something, if there's lots of pictures, I know I'm very close what I'm going to get, you know?
Right.
Because the closest thing to actually holding it is the picture.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess in my head, I was just thinking that like basically, the better pictures I can get, the more happier the people, the happier the people will be, you know?
So you had common sense.
Of course.
And that's what happened. Well, but not of course, because you had common sense, but there's a lot of children out there, parents that we find that say, hey, we're not, our children don't have much common sense, or they don't have character. We would like to instill character in them. And that's why we believe so much into teaching children to be entrepreneurs, because when you teach your children to be entrepreneurs, when you give them the mindset of an entrepreneur and you teach them business skills and life skills, they have better character, and they become more resourceful. They become more disciplined, and they develop the common sense to just say, what would I do if? So do you remember that we used to walk into stores and I would show you how it was that companies market to people?
Mm-hmm.
So I taught them those skills. Like, those skills didn't just come by chance. We would go into Barnes & Noble. We had a bookstore, so we would go into Barnes & Noble and I would say, look around and check to see what colors they're using. What words are they using? Hey everyone on Facebook, we are super excited that you guys are joining us. Please let us know and send us some hearts. Let us know where you guys are from, and definitely share this video so other people can learn how to raise a young entrepreneur. But we go into Barnes and Nobles, and in Barnes and Nobles we would check, okay, what words are they using? How are they putting their books? What are the most common sales that they have? And with that interaction, they developed the critical thinking skills to be able to have their own business. And that was just very useful. Mm-hmm. So basically we've covered the fact that it made you, give you a lot of character. It also gave you the ability to have great time management.
Yeah.
So how would you say that's affected your life today?
Well, I mean, time management, of course, every single day I use time management, and I learned it just based off of, all right, I have to make this many marshmallow guns or whatever by Saturday when I'm going to sell them. So I'd say this day I'm going to go out and do this much stuff. The next I got to do this. And I just kind of break my week up like that. And it so happens that even still, like I break up my weeks, my days, everything like pretty close to by the hour or by every 30 minutes, So, I mean, just it goes back to thinking, just thinking with common sense and just kind of breaking your day down based on priorities, You have to prioritize. This is the most important thing. These are the things that are not as important. So, I mean, it's just kind of stuff that I learned, I was taught by you, by Pops, by other people, by other business people that I was around, that it's just, you go and you prioritize your things, and you just take out the ones that are most important, take out the ones that are most important. And then once you finish all those, that's when you can have time for whatever else that it is that you want to do. So
yeah. So you were focused on making sure that you had a good amount of time for everything that you needed to do. So you learned to manage your time. And that's another thing that was just absolutely amazing from Alexis, learning to manage his time and seeing him now as an 18-year-old, how he manages his time. I mean, if he wants to sleep in, he does. But there's other days that he might be up early because he just has more things to do. And I feel like nobody has to be on top of him because he's learned to be his own boss. And that's a part of the personal responsibility that I see a lot with parents, with moms, with dads. They say, oh, I wish my kids would do things on their own. I wish I didn't have to tell them. I wish I didn't have to nag. But when they're inspired to have their own business, there's an inward motivation, right? A lot of these boys that are very active, that are just not, they don't do well in school, they would be the ideal candidates to have their own business, to learn these life skills, because they love to work with their hands. They're active. They love to, they think sharp. And when they're making money and they feel like they're useful, they're using their talents. And then because they're using their talents, they get boosted confidence. Because they get boosted confidence, then they feel better about themselves, and then their communication skills improve. I mean, it's like a cycle all the way around. Hey, Jennifer, we love that you're here. We're talking about how to raise a young entrepreneur, you guys. And some of you that have children, that are very active, you guys would love the idea of raising a young entrepreneur, because those children that are very active, they need something to do. They need to feel useful. Because, normally like in school, they put them in a box and they say, well, you're not good at this or you're not that. And if a child is not good with the academics, let's say like traditional math or reading, they get labeled. But those children would do really great in entrepreneurship. Like Alexis didn't learn, I mean, he could do math, he could do business math when he was 7 and 8 years old, but he couldn't do algebra, of course. And he couldn't read until he was 10, you guys. Like, I don't know if that's something that's
you weren't supposed to tell him that.
Well, it's shocking because, like, some people think that you have to be this, no, he didn't learn to read till he was 10 years old. So if he would have been in a traditional school, he would have been labeled. But because we were homeschooling, then we gave him the option to make sure that he was, we gave him the option to be able to have his own business. And because he had his own business, he was able to use his talents, and he didn't get this label that he was dumb. On the contrary, you guys heard him. He was very confident of himself because he had all this money in his pocket. He was 10 years old and he would have $50 in his wallet as like a casual thing. He had options all the time. Thank you guys for giving us hearts. Does Alexis like school? Question, Jennifer.
No.
No.
No. Yeah, I actually, now I enjoy school. Now I'm going to college. I'm going to a community college, and I personally enjoy it. What I don't too much enjoy is the whole system of like tests and everything like that. But as far as if you ask me the question, I know this is kind of going off topic, but if you ask me the question, do you like school? I would most likely say no. What it is that I like is learning. Like,
yeah.
And that sounds like, oh yeah, sure, that's whatever. Like, honestly, I love going to the classes and just sitting there and learning what the people say and hearing about all the philosophy and psychology and math. Math is actually one of my favorite subjects. It's just like, to me, it's fun. Now, when you start throwing tests in front of me and I have to study for an exam, and if I don't pass that, then I'm like you're saying, labeled a failing student. That's what I personally don't like. If you just throw me in somewhere where I can just learn, I love it. So yeah. I like school. I love learning. School is cool, but
yeah. Jennifer says that she's a horrible test taker, but yet you're a really good student. Jennifer has been one of my coaching clients, and she became a personal friend of the family. We love her, and you're just such a great learner. Like, you're a woman who loves to learn. But that's the thing, to be a test taker is something completely different. I love that you brought that up, because we've been homeschooling for 17 years as a family. But I believe today that even though you may choose to send your children to regular public school or private school, you can still have the mindset of having a home education, where that is why teaching your children entrepreneurship skills is so important, because the entrepreneurship skills is what is going to set them apart from everybody else. Like, when they're going to school, they're going to be learning the traditional way. But when at home, you instill in them the idea of having their own business, it just teaches them things that they otherwise would have never learned, questions they would have never asked, processes and the mindset that they would have never gotten to. And sure, in school, sometimes they make us do just mock-up questions, or like, okay, have a mock-up business, but that's not the same thing as literally asking somebody to buy your product. Can you remember the toughest thing about just offering somebody your product or offering them to buy? Like, at the beginning, were you shy? I don't even remember, Alexis. It's been so long, but do you remember if you were ever shy to have somebody buy your product?
Shy.
You would never think that Alexis was shy, because he just grew up with it. He was so comfortable. But here's the thing, like, you guys would think that now Alexis is super bubbly, and you see him and he's well with words, and look, what are you doing?
Nothing.
He's a little strange. No, but he, you would think that he's this amazing guy, but he was the youngest of 3 boys. And being the youngest of 3 boys meant that he had to really step it up a notch to be able to meet, the standards of his brothers. So I don't know that you were necessarily like super outgoing. I think you became outgoing because there was so much with the life skills and the entrepreneurship skills that you had to learn. Like, you really developed a liking for money and for ideas, for implementing and being creative.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't always like that, of course. Well, it kind of was always like that. I'm not. It's been like so much. I honestly hardly remember. It's like, I don't remember if I was nervous to sell stuff. I'm not too sure. As far as being with brothers, definitely that was made me bump it up, just because it's like it forced me to be more outgoing and stuff like that, as well as the business. So
yeah, the business,
I'm not
for sure. So, but I remember when him being little. One of the things that you talked about a few years ago when we had a webinar like this was, you said that became your norm. So, like, you were comfortable, like, it was easier to take risks because you didn't know.
Oh yeah.
So it was a lot easier, like, now. So it was a lot easier for you to take risks because you were little and you didn't know what risk was.
Of course.
So there wasn't that fear that adults have today. Can you speak into that?
Yeah, I mean, I think basically what it is that, you know, a younger child, like when, for example, one time I took out my little sister. We were at, like, she was like 4 or 5 years old, and we were at Burger King, and some person behind had like the pants with lower, you know, so I was showing the underwear, and she just says out loud, you know, that guy has his pants super low, you know, and like we all started like laughing, like, you can't say that out loud, you know, and it's like, you don't know any better, you know, you don't know any better than to say that. So it's kind of the same thing here. So basically, you don't know any better that it's scary to go up and try and sell this product, and it's scary to get rejected. It's scary to not have money. It's scary to have bills. Like, you know, you don't know any of this stuff. You know, to you, it's just going up and saying this thing and see what happens. You know, if they say no, oh, okay, no problem. You know,
so also what I'm hearing is that those are all learned behaviors.
Yeah, exactly. They're learned behaviors from, like, little by little. They're taught to us, you know, that if you go up to someone and they tell you no, then you're supposed to feel bad, you know. But basically, like, if you go out there and you do it from an earlier stage, you just don't ever learn that stuff, because you're like, how you're gonna tell me that it's scary? I've done it 1,000 times and I've never been scared, you know. So I feel like exactly they're learned behaviors, and if you can stop it before you learn them incorrectly, and then have to go out there and try and like for example, if I had never learned this stuff and I was just learning it now, I would be most likely like scared to go up and do all these things that I've done and that I'm currently doing, you know. But the fact that I've done it over and over and over, it's like it's not so scary anymore. You
exactly.
know? So,
all right, we want to say hi to Marlene, Amy, Jennifer, Sylvia, Ashley, Danny. Thank you for joining us. Silvana, thank you for joining us. We just love having you guys on with us. We are talking about how to raise a young entrepreneur, and we've been talking about all of the benefits that a child can get for themselves, you know, from character traits like learning to be disciplined, learning to have strong work ethics, learning to be resourceful, being responsible for their money, the good stewardship of time. We've also talked about how it builds up their confidence. I mean, Alexis was walking around with having choices. He had purchasing power at 10 years old that was more than many adults. And because he had options, that really boosted up his confidence, not because money was like an emotional anchor for him like it can be for adults, but really just because he felt good about himself. He saw that he could use his talents, that he could use some of the things that he was good at, that he had a brain, and that there was no fear in him. And he just went out and he could see how he could make this money, and that of course boosted up his confidence. And we've talked a lot, we've also talked during this time about how important it is to make sure that you are encouraging your children to learn this, because they get used to that. It's not, they don't have all these learned behaviors as they get older, where there's all this fear of like, no, what happens if I get rejected? They don't even know what the word rejected is. You know, they might be a little bit shy, but what happens with children is that if the desire to do something, the desire for money, or the desire for the benefit of what they're going to get when they have the money is greater than the fear that they have, children will jump to it right away. They will not be so overwhelmed like an adult would. You know, an adult is always like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Should I do it? Should I not do it? Whereas a child is like, because they don't have all of those thoughts around them, they immediately think, okay, if I have $5, I can buy this candy. And that is much more of a need, a desire, so that it gets fulfilled. Or if I have, if I have $10 and I can buy this, or if I have $100 and I can buy this. So it definitely does help. So I love it when you guys get engaged. So welcome, Oscar. How are you? I love that you're here with us, that you're joining us. Is this Oscar from Ecuador? If it is, I think that's pretty awesome, because we haven't seen each other in years. So it's super great to see you. But please go ahead and share this. Let us know, ask us questions, because Alexis would love to answer your questions. we're going to transition into what are some of the businesses that you've done. So what are some of the things that parents watching can inspire and instill in their kids to do that is easy? So let's start with something really, really simple, like the small little enterprise for a 7 or an 8-year-old. What can I do?
Well, the first thing I did was just I bought basically sodas and like snacks from Winn-Dixie or a supermarket or whatever you have near you. That's what I did. I just bought sodas, and I would buy like a 24 pack or whatever for how much is that? Like $6, something like that. And I'd sell them for $1 each. You know, so then you turn $7 into 24, and I just kept doing that over and over and over. And it came to the point that people at church and I don't remember where else I went, but basically these people
like youth group. Not youth group, the family meetings.
Whatever. Oh, yeah, the Friday group meeting.
Friday group meeting.
So wherever I went, it came to the point that people already knew that I was
had branded himself.
Exactly. They already knew I was going to come every Sunday. I was going to have the same sodas. I was going to have...
Then he upgraded to candy.
I had candy. No, I always had candy.
Oh, okay.
So I had sodas. I had chips. That's what I upgraded to. I started to buy the family pack chips, you know, with the tiny little... And then I'd sell those for $1, and those were like $7. So basically, I just like buy snacks that were like already assorted inside, and I'd sell them for like $1 each. And then I'd double the money, triple the money, whatever it is, and then just go and keep doing the process. Yeah.
So what we did as parents is we invested in them once. You know, like anytime you go to Costco or you go to your grocery store, you can buy this stuff for them. So we just said, okay, we'll buy this for you. The commitment is that we're going to invest in you, but then you're going to make this money back, okay? And he would. So
going back, I just thought of the word discipline again. For me, the discipline was not so much of, which may be the case with most kids actually. It was not so much the discipline of putting down the phone and going out and actually doing this. For me, the discipline was having the snacks there and not eating them. Because day after day, I would wake up and see like, oh, I have this candy and this soda right here, but I cannot eat it because, you know,
you want to make money.
I have to make money. So it's like, for a lot of people, that's where the discipline will play. And that's where it played in for me. You know, every day I wake up, I see this soda, can't drink it, you know. And I remember even my family would sometimes want like a good, you know, a good soda or something like that. They'd say, hey, could I have one? I'd say, I'll sell it to you for $1.
Yes.
Give you $1.
He was a sticker. He would like not let us have anything. He would not let us have. He would not let us have anything. He was like, always sell it.
If I can't have one, you can't have one. I might have given him a discount, like 50 cents instead or something like that. But either way, that's where the discipline also
came from. So what would you say like to the parent that says, yes, but my child is not disciplined like that?
I think he will be. He'll get it. I mean, if he's not disciplined enough, then find something else. Like if he or she just cannot control themselves with having candy in there, don't sell candy then. Sell something else.
Right.
You know? Or I remember what I used to do also is I knew sometimes like if I bought a candy that was like I really, really liked, you know, and I knew that I was going to eat it, I tell my dad, put it away somewhere where I can't find it and only give it to me on Sundays, you know, because there's this saying that I remember you guys always told us when you can't follow the rules or something. It was like,
the spirit of the law?
No, not that one. It's so basically what it went down to was if you cannot abide by the rules, then the family will have to put extra rules.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You can, something like that.
Yeah, so it's a concept that when you cannot manage yourself, then other people are going to have to manage you. Right.
Yeah.
So at a young age, hey, Matt, I love that you're with us from the SCORE conference years ago. That's so awesome. We're talking about how to raise a young entrepreneur. And right now we're talking about something so important, right? So Alexis says that he used to sell candy. That was one of his first businesses. He used to sell candy, used to sell sodas. So he says that the discipline for him, you know, because we're talking about how business at a young age can teach children character. And he says that the discipline for him happened when he couldn't eat what he wanted. Like he had all this candy, all these chips, he couldn't eat them. And he says that one of his strategies became giving the candy to his dad so that, if he didn't have the discipline to not eat it, then he would, then my husband would hold the candy for him until Sunday, which is when he would sell it. Then, so he made reference to something that we used to say all the time, which is when you cannot manage yourself, then others have to manage it for you, manage your time for you, or your resources or whatever. So he learned that, and that's okay. When children are young, if they can't manage themselves, that's where we set boundaries. But the idea is that as children get older, we don't have to manage them so much. At 11, 12, 13, we should begin to transition from us managing their life to them managing themselves. And entrepreneurship was definitely one of the things that allowed us as parents to help them transition out of that.
Yeah.
All right. So Matt says, great to see you guys. Love following your business. That's awesome. Thank you, Matt. I love that you're here as well. We'd love for you guys to share this video with others, because we really believe that entrepreneurship for young children is really, really amazing. We believe that it inspires them, that it teaches them great skills in character, personality, confidence, managing their money. I mean, it's just absolutely phenomenal. So candy was one of the things you had. Then you did marshmallow guns. Oh, wait, no, before that. So you did candy. I know we did chickens. So we raised chickens. We had eggs. That's something that's very doable for parents that they can do. What else did we do? We did ponies.
Yeah.
We bought horses and we started doing pony parties.
That was
kind of us, but we did
involved a little bit. Yeah.
We did it so that they would learn the concept of hard work, and it was something that we could do with them, because we do believe that, if at all possible, if you have a family business that you can build or create, that makes it more fun, because you're building your relationship while you are spending time with your children. So if that can happen, phenomenal. Then we sold honey. My husband would buy like big blocks of honey, a big not pints, they're gallons. Yeah. And then we would repackage them, and then the boys would sell them. We've also sold avocados. They also sold
like foam swords.
Right. So then we had our business, and you guys made marshmallow guns, foam swords. Then you'd buy wholesale toys.
Wholesale, yeah.
And the difference was pretty neat, because I want to say that some children, you like to build things, whereas Nick, my other son, he preferred to just buy things that were already made. Yeah. So it's very important to teach children to know what they're good at and to do a business that they enjoy. Yeah. Because if they're not enjoying it, that's not going to be fun. Alexis actually enjoyed sitting down and using a very creative side of himself, by packaging up everything and painting all the marshmallow guns. And he enjoyed working with his hands. Even today, that's something he really likes. So if that's something that children like, then great. Allow them to work with their hands. Brenda, hi! So Brenda has two teenagers, or about to be teenagers. So this is great. We're talking about how entrepreneurship has really impacted Alexis. Alexis drives a super nice car now, and he pays it for himself. I mean, you've been providing for yourself basically since you were like 12 or 13. Yeah. Because that's like, you bought a $200-something airsoft gun, airsoft gun when you were 12 or younger. Yeah, and it was all with his own money.
It was more expensive than that, though. It was definitely like $400.
And you bought it with your own money.
Yeah.
So how did it feel? Like, did you ever feel abandoned because we didn't buy that stuff for you?
No, I think it was kind of just normal, because it's like mom
and dad would pay for the basic things.
I already knew.
Because they were making money, it was very normal for us to allow them to buy it for themselves. Yeah. Like today, all of our children have these. We've raised them the same way with these entrepreneurship skills, and my 13-year-old, she works for our neighbor. She gets the mail for her when she's out of town. These different things. So she has this money. She knows that if she wants to do something that is particularly her, like take a friend to the movies or go out with her friends, she's going to be paying for that. We don't do an allowance. We don't give them money just because, that it's like an American thing to give them an allowance. We don't give them an allowance. We believe that children have to earn their money. It's good for them. It teaches them a ton of character, gives them great confidence. And when they do all of that, it really supports them in building stronger character. So Alexis was talking about all of the different businesses he's had. And after selling the marshmallow guns and selling foam swords, the first, I would say, larger enterprise, and it scaled, like it moved on up. You know, he started with selling candy when he was little at 7, what was it, 5, 6, 7? You were younger. You were like 6 years old, 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
When you were selling candy. And then notice it went up and up where he became more and more comfortable with the things that he was, with the businesses he had. Hey, Connie, so great that you're here. And then when you were 12, that's when I gave him a pair of, some shoes that were name brand and said, here, sell them on eBay. And he opened up his eBay account. So from there, it just got bigger and bigger. And he, with YouTube now, he did a lot of self-study. You just learned a ton about eBay, how to get reviews. And that became a business that you guys were involved with that for what, like 2 years? Year and a half?
I think like a year probably.
A year?
Maybe a little bit more.
And that all went down because we didn't know that you couldn't have an eBay account if you were a child. So he had opened his own eBay account. And one day he's like 14 years old. Now by this time he's drop shipping, you guys.
But that was me and my brother both.
Right.
And then at that point, when we got shut down, me and him had like our own accounts. We had probably, it may not sound like a lot, but we had like close to 200 reviews on each of our accounts, which is a lot. Like we were top sellers. We had like upgraded our accounts a bunch of times, and we were both individually making like $500 profit for every month, literally for doing like nothing. So, and the crazy part is that we were doing that, like literally the business that we had was like flawless. It was, we were making this money, and it was about to get even more and more, but it was each like $500 a month, straight profit, zero risk, because we would only make money, like we would only buy something if somebody already paid us for it, So it's kind of like we get the money, then we use part of that money to buy, and it's like repeating. So like we risked nothing. We took probably literally at that time for that $500, we probably spent 2 hours working. So it's like every month. So it's like being an entrepreneur can be the hardest thing that you ever do. But the second you get it right, it can be the easiest thing. You just make money like that.
Like nothing. And like you were 12.
I was 12. So to make $500 a month when 12 years old, like it sounds like I'm making it up, but I promise you this is all true. Like this is all just happened. And it's like I didn't have anyone to teach me. I didn't have, I had my parents taught me.
But we didn't teach them about eBay.
I
We taught them when they were younger.
You
We taught them the principles. And when you teach the principles of work, the principles of hard work ethics, the principles of you buy this product, you sell it, you get money back. What are the words called? This is how you sell. This is how you ask for the sale. This is how you make sure that the product is better. Because we were doing all of those things, by the time he got to 12 or 13, when he was taking bigger risks and an opportunity got bigger for him, then it became a lot easier. So he was just taking bigger risks. And by that time, he had developed enough critical thinking skills in his business where it was working pretty awesome. And he was doing it on his own. Mm-hmm. So then what happened was his eBay business got shut down because he...
under 18.
They were under 18. They had an issue with a client. They had to call in for something. And the representative asked him, how old are you? And he said 14. And
I'm 14 years old.
And they shut him down. And they shut everybody's account down here at the house. I think now we have a guest account, but for years they would not let us have an eBay account. So that was really sad because they were making a ton of money, but they learned a lot from that. Hey, Leslie, I'm so glad that you're with us. Hi, Dorette. I'm super excited that you guys are with us. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi, Sharmila. We're super excited that you're with us. We're talking about how to raise a young entrepreneur, and we've covered some of the businesses that Alexis and Nick have had. So, Alexis, why don't you show them your latest enterprise?
So this is my latest project. It's a hammock. It fits right here. Basically, this is like the most, I'm not telling you this just because it's my product. Literally, this is the most comfortable hammock I've ever laid in my life. I promise you that. Like, I'm not just saying that. So basically what I did, this took about 3 months for me to develop and finally launch it. I came up with the logo, this here, Lightmare. I came up with the color with a special design for everything. So, and I launched it on Amazon about probably a month and a half ago. So it's actually up there right now. Like if you search Lightmare Hammock on Amazon, you'll find it literally. So this was my project, and it currently is that I'm selling it and everything like that. My latest business, and that was just inspired based off of the trend of Amazon that's been going on. You know, I saw a huge opportunity that Amazon was just going up and up and up. And so many people are buying on there, and I found this product that was definitely selling very well. And I just thought, you know what? I'm going to do this. You know, it's just take risks.
And how much money did you invest?
4,000 probably, most likely. A little bit, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. I'm not too sure, but around 4,000.
Around 4,000.
Yeah.
So here you go, guys. Somebody that, you know, Alexis is 18 years old. He's going to be 19 in December, but he started off with $1, selling candy for $1. You know, he would buy 4 candies for $1, sell each candy for $1, you know, quadruple his profit, his investment. And then now here he is at, you know, 18 years old, and he's invested $4,000. He pays for all of his personal expenses, every trip he makes, everything. Ever since he was 12, he's paid for any want that he's had in his life. He's just paid for it. And it's been out of his pocket. He's developed the confidence. He doesn't need us. He, you know, he has money. There's times when we've asked to borrow money from him, like, because he has that, you know, it's pretty cool to be able to provide, to have that option. I remember there was a time where years ago we were doing, like Gus and I were doing really bad financially. And we had to go to Alexis, to our kids, and they all had money and we didn't. And to say, look, we need to pay the light bill. And here we're just being very vulnerable with you guys, but we're doing that because it's just to show you how Gus felt really bad about doing it. But I remember having this conversation where I said, Gus, isn't it amazing that, sure, we're adults, we're in this mess. I mean, for other reasons, that's another conversation, but how cool that our children can have the satisfaction that they can help us. And they were all underage, mind you. So it was just pretty amazing to have taught them all of these skills that now they're reaping from. So Lucy says, I need to listen to this entire live stream. Just join. Congrats. I love that you are watching, Lucy. Welcome. Raina says, wow, that's awesome, Alexis. We have ideas often of creating things. How did the process work to get it from the idea to selling? That's a great question. Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Sorry.
I mean, that's the hard part. You know, it's like there's not really a set in stone process for you to know, all right, all you have to do is this. And
Well, it depends on the product.
Yeah, I mean, but really what it comes down to is you have an idea, and at one point you just have to take action. And honestly, there's always people, like what you have to do is there's a phrase, resource up, that you just have to find what's around you, use what you have, and have faith that everything else will fall in place. Like, for example, when I had this idea about Amazon, I had no idea about Amazon. I knew about eBay, but Amazon is like a different monster, I guess you can call it. You know, a different, I don't know. It's like there's so much more to know about Amazon. So I just went to YouTube. I searched YouTube. I started to find out how it's possible. I think it's just research. That's all I can say, really. Because for me, every time the first thing I always do when I have a new idea is I look up the laws. Honestly, it's like, look up, is it even possible that I can do this? All right, cool. If it's possible, then I go on to the next step. All right, well, will it be profitable? Like, if I can actually make this product, how much would I sell it for? And then I look up, is there anybody else that's selling it? You know, it's just kind of like a process that you go through. Research. Yeah.
And you know, you guys are asking some great questions. You have some amazing feedback. And you're seeing Alexis at 18 years old, and you guys are impressed, right? Because now he's got his Lightmare hammock. He's got his own brand. It's so awesome. But it all started with him selling candy. And that's why it's so important to sell, to make sure that we teach children to sell, to have their own business, to have entrepreneurship skills, to know these key words. What is profit? What is loss? What is a brand? What's marketing? What's sales? What is wholesale? What's retail? And those are all things that, you know, for us, it was a little bit easier to do because we had our own business. But maybe there's some parents that are watching that you may not necessarily have the time to teach your children all these things. So Alexis, as the young entrepreneur, he has made sure that he can invest in your children with his time, with his knowledge, and he's got a passion for entrepreneurship. He's been really good at it. So we'd love to share with you about the Youngpreneur program. It's a program that Alexis created 3 years ago, but he was young then, so he's revamped it now. And the Youngpreneur program is a 3-week program. So I'm going to tell you about that now. But anyway, before I tell you about that, I was going to say, guys, support Alexis and buy one of his Lightmare hammocks. Okay? This is such a cool hammock. How much is it, Alexis?
Right now it's $26.99.
$26.99, you guys.
And actually, it's cheaper than the ones that are better. And this one's, I guarantee this is better for sure.
Yeah. So he's not using Shopify. He's selling through Amazon. If you guys if you put in Amazon Lightmare hammock, this is his. Give us the link. Oh my gosh. Hold on. The link.
Just look up.
Just look it up.
Amazon and put in Lightmare hammock, and you'll find it for sure.
Lightmare hammock.
It's the first one. It looks just like this.
Yeah, Lightmare hammock. You'll know because since you guys are on Facebook, I can't do it right now. But yeah, I can drop ship I can't find the link, but I'll put it later on the video. But if you just do Amazon Lightmare hammock, you'll find it. It is an amazing hammock. It's $26.99. He's putting it for that price because he wants to make sure that you guys do the review. The review, if you're happy. Yes, Lightmare. Exactly. That's awesome. Thank you, Lucy.
Like nightmare, but
Lightmare. So make sure that you support this young entrepreneur. His goal is to sell 200 hammocks. And if you buy one, you give one as a gift. It makes an amazing gift. And if you put a review afterwards, the reviews are super, super important to help him out. Okay. And we want to tell you about the Youngpreneur program. So let me do, with the people that are watching on the webinar, I want to share the screen and tell you about the Youngpreneur program. So the Youngpreneur program is a 3-week program that we've developed where you can give your children an early start in business and help them develop powerful marketing skills that will boost their self-confidence, financial skills, and character. These are all the business principles that make successful entrepreneurs. But Alexis, at his young age, has developed it in a way that any child from 7 years old and up, I would say it's good from 7 years old to 16 years old, can learn these entrepreneurship skills. We have already explained why it's so important for your children to learn about business, because they will learn about character. They will learn character. It will test everything that they know. It'll boost up their self-confidence, and it will give them knowledge into financial skills to manage their money wisely. So it's very, very important that you guys really consider this as an amazing investment for the life of your children. Alexis loves what he does. He loves teaching young entrepreneurs. 3 years ago when we've launched this, we've had pretty much every year we offer this once or twice a year. This is the first time that we're offering it this year. And Alexis has gone back and he's redone the entire program. So, thank you, Lucy. Thank you for giving the link. So he's, very excited about being able to teach everything at a level that your children can learn at. He is offering this, this entire course called the Youngpreneur program. Okay. When children have a taste for business, it doesn't take them long to realize what they want to do for themselves. Because a lot of children today, they go to school, they don't know what their skills are because they never spend time learning to know themselves. And what happens with entrepreneurship is your children will have a lot more personal awareness. So you guys, there's some valuable lessons to learn. So the Youngpreneur program is the program that's going to teach your children personal, financial, and business skills at their age. This is going to be an amazing investment for them. Who is this for? This is for the parent that has children who want to sell the cat, okay? This is for children who have, for the parents that have hyperactive children. This is a perfect program for those children that are hyperactive, that are just saying, you know, they can't sit still, they want to work with their hands, that they cannot focus well in school. This is perfect for them because those are the children who really will do great in business. This is also for the children that are very sharp. Like maybe your children do well in business. I mean, they do well in school, but they also want to do something else. They want to be creative. You know, maybe you're a parent that's an entrepreneur. You may not necessarily know how to transfer that information to your children. So this program is going to be great for you if you have a business too and you want to teach your children. Or if you have the business mindset, but you want to teach your children, maybe you work for somebody else, but you wished you would have had your business then, and you may not know the skill set, you don't have the time or whatever to teach your children, well, then Alexis can do that for you. All right. In this program, you're going to learn how to identify the gifts of your children. Well, actually, this program is not made for you. This program is made for your children. So the cool thing is that here you will sign up your children, and your children can directly go to the videos. There's 3 videos that your children watch, and then Alexis is going to be doing the legwork for you. He's going to be teaching your children about these entrepreneurship skills. He's going to teach them how to identify their gifts so they can pick up a product or service that sells, that fits their personality. You heard Alexis say that he liked to make stuff. Nick, my other son, he didn't like to make anything. He just wanted to buy things that were already made. They're also going to learn how to be confident and get more sales when approaching customers, even when they're young. They're going to learn what marketing is, what is sales, and how to use it to sell their product. Because Alexis is going to walk them through marketing their product. What is that? He's going to teach it to them. The truth is that today, in any field, you have to market yourself, you have to sell. So this investment in the Youngpreneur program for you and your children is going to be an amazing tool for them to learn how to market. What is sales, what is influence. Alexis is also going to teach them how to stand out when trying to be better than the competition. And I know that sounds so crazy, but the truth is kids need to know that it's part of life, that there is competition. So they need to know, well, how can I make my product better? How to manage their money, how to be persistent. He's also going to teach them how to sell products online. Online, it could be eBay. I mean, maybe if you don't want your kids on the internet just yet, they can use an app called OfferUp, which is local app, and he's made a ton of money like that too from literally just garbage. He has picked up garbage off the street, and he has made a ton of money in that. Okay, if you've ever wanted your children to have an amazing young mentor, then really, 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 the Youngpreneur program is something that you definitely want to invest in. If you want to, Alexis will teach them how to price their product, how to price it, how to price their service if they're offering a service, how to make sure that they're not charging too much because they're children, but that they're not charging so little where it won't be beneficial for them. He's also going to show them how to package the product. How old is he? Alexis is
18.
Is 18. Is he the only one, or any other siblings working together? So he's often worked together with my other son, who's 20 now. So they're a year and a half apart. And they've often worked together. Sometimes they've had business separately. Sometimes with the OfferUp, that they've picked up things off the garbage, literally, and brought them into the back porch or the stables, and they store them there. He has sold a ton of things. They've made one day you made like $80. Easily from garbage. People throw away all kinds of things here in the United States. He just picks up that off, and he's brought it, and he makes quick cash if he wants anything, So anyway, that's just to say that's all that your children are going to learn. They're going to learn to price the product, to package the product, and what that's going to cost, it's going to be a total of 3 videos. So the first video, you're going to share what, Alexis?
The first video, I talk about the basics of business. So just I teach them the basics. So I teach them about retail, wholesale, that kind of things. Yeah, exactly. And plus, I teach them about the character traits that they'll need. So I'll talk about a few of them, and I go into depth. So
yeah, good. So the very first video in the Youngpreneur program, is the basics of business and the character qualities that they're going to need to have their business. So imagine how cool to have an 18-year-old mentor for your children, all right, that can inspire them. All right, so what are you going to teach them in the second video?
Let me remember. The second video.
The second video is about creating your product.
Yeah, so I go a little bit more in depth into actually making the product. So I talk about naming the product, pricing the product, how to beat the competition.
How to do if it's service or a product.
Service, product. I go into, like, the first video is more like the foundation, like the setup. The second video is actually, by the end of the second video, you should already have an idea of what you're going to be selling and everything like that. So, and already have a name and all that ready to go. So
exactly. So he goes into all of that in the second module. We want to welcome Natalie, Mo, hi, Reina. Says, you make all of the hammocks. No, we ordered them in China.
Yeah, China manufactured them.
Can you guys imagine that?
But I basically, I didn't make them, but I put in my custom works into it. So I ordered it, and I told them, like, at first I got a sample, and I told them everything that I wanted them to do. So there's a few custom things with the hammocks that I added through the China manufacturers.
So you guys can have this young entrepreneur mentoring your children over the next month and inspire them to have their own business at whatever age they're at. So first module talks about the basics of business. Second module actually creates the actual business or the product for your children. And then the last module goes into more of the online. If your children want to use eBay, if your children want to use an app like OfferUp, or if they want to, he doesn't know, Alexis has never done Shopify, but the concepts are the same. You know, the principles are the same. So he doesn't want to go too fancy, like he won't teach them about Amazon, because this program, the Youngpreneur program, is for children between the ages of 7 to 16, roughly. So if you have children between the ages of 7 to 16, this is going to be perfect for them. All right. And the last module, like he's saying, he goes into more of the online concepts and ideas. Some children that we had in the previous program, they would have a Facebook group and they would sell through Facebook with their parents. They would ask their mom to post pictures of jewelry that this one boy would make, and that's how he would sell it. So there's definitely a lot of ideas that Alexis will give them. And the price of the Youngpreneur program is $97. So for $97, you guys are going to get your children to learn all of these amazing concepts of business. There's going to be 3 modules that your children watch, but what's really cool is that they're going to have the personal interaction with Alexis. So they watch the video, and then Alexis is going to make sure that he speaks with each one of your children one-on-one for $97, you guys. Why? Because Alexis, he's a budding entrepreneur. He wants to raise cash flow to continue to invest in his businesses. And he really is very excited about the idea of teaching children entrepreneurship skills. So for $97 flat, you guys get the 3 modules, and Alexis is going to be mentoring your children for how long, Alexis?
3 weeks.
For 3 weeks. Okay, so for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, technically it's 5, because the way it's going to work is I'm going to have 3 calls, 1 each week for each module. And then after the calls, the following 2 weeks after the videos are done, I'm gonna have group calls so that everyone can just jump on together and just kind of share ideas, ask questions, see how everyone's doing after the whole process. So for 5 weeks, this is an investment of $97. So what do you guys have to do? Please go to shirleysolis.com, shirleysolis.com. /youngpreneur. Okay, so that's shirleysolis.com /youngpreneur. All right, here we go. shirleysolis.com /youngpreneur. Hola, Rebecca. How are you? Very nice that you're with us. I am going to, there we go. Okay, so if you guys are watching us, Alexis is doing this amazing invitation. He's only going to take 10 people, 10 children, because since he's going to be mentoring them one by one, he wants to make sure that he has no more than 10 children to work with, because he does have a job. He has a full-time job. He also works on the weekends at a restaurant sometimes. So, and he's got his Amazon business. So between all of that, he's only going to take 10 children.
So if you want to join the 10. So if you want to join the Youngpreneur program, Alexis he's already recorded 3 modules where your children will learn all of the basics of business at their level. What age your children is he working with? He's going to work with children ages 7 and 8 all the way to 16. All right. So if your children are at 7, 8, all the way to 16, Alexis can work with them. Alexis is amazing working with children. He's a lifeguard. He's a certified lifeguard, and he's worked at the YMCA. And they would put him with all of the children that never wanted to listen. So he knows how to work with children with short attention span. Obviously, the calls at that moment are not going to be very long if the child is 8 or 9 years old. But if the child is, 10, 16, they can take a little bit more time, okay? So there's no particular time amount, but he's going to make sure that he does a follow-up with your child, and we'll send you information by email about how to do that, okay? To sign up, all you have to do is go to shirleysolis.com / Alexis will eventually get his own site here, but Shirley Solis, we're just giving you a quick link. It's really powerful Parenting Academy, but it's an umbrella of that. But this is one of our sub products. But go to shirleysolis.com / youngpreneur. shirleysolis.com / youngpreneur, and we will close this after 10 children, because Alexis cannot work with to more than 10, because he has a job and he's got other things. So we're very excited because your children will have the opportunity to be mentored and inspired by a young man who, it's not because he's my son, but he's really incredible with everything that he does. He is an inspiration to so many. He's used his money to give to homeless people many times, to really give to others. He's very generous when he can be, and at the same time, he's a tightwad. And he saves his money, and he makes sure that he takes care of his personal finances in a very, very wise way. So we're very proud of him. We just really want to encourage you to please support Alexis. All of the benefits of, everything that from the Youngpreneur program is going to support Alexis directly. He is going to be making 100% of this money. Why? Because as a mom, I wanted to bribe him into making sure that the Youngpreneur program becomes one of the top businesses for him, because I really believe that he has something to share. He's young. He can relate well with children. And he's sharp. As you guys can see, he's a really sharp kid. He's learned so much about business, and he's going to be able to inspire these little kids to do something, whether it's selling candy. He knows how to get them to do what they need to do to follow through. Today, he's not only been a lifeguard, but today he teaches at the jiu-jitsu school where he learned jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
No, in karate.
In karate, I'm sorry. He's a black belt in karate. And he's been doing karate for 16 years. No, 14 years. So karate, jiu-jitsu for 14 years. Jiu-jitsu, karate, he does MMA. So he's a black belt, and he's an assistant trainer at the school, and he is amazing. He works with children as young as 4 years old. So
and adults, everything.
Yeah, so he's going to really be able to get your child that is between the ages of 7 to 16 to really get going with their Youngpreneur business. Okay, so if you want to join the Youngpreneur program, now is the time, please. Alexis will only have 10 spots, because he can only handle so much. There's 3 modules where your children will learn all the basics of business, and then Alexis will do a call, one-on-one call. He'll just pick up the phone and speak to little Simon or little Billy or little Susie, and just encourage them to work with their business and answer any questions that they have. So this could really be an amazing investment, something that would be really cool, especially now that their holidays are coming. It's a great opportunity. It's a great gift from you for your children. And it's an amazing time for your children to start their little business, buy some things now so that they can sell perfectly in time for the holidays, okay?
And then get you a nice Christmas gift as well.
Yeah, because all of you want a nice Christmas gift. Imagine that. That'd be awesome. Yeah. So you guys, let me know if you have any questions. If you're watching us on the webinar, let us know if you have any questions. If you are joining us on Facebook, let us know if you have any questions. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. As soon as Alexis reaches 10 people, 10 children, in the Youngpreneur program, then great question. When do you start the program? So next week, Alexis will start the program. You're going to sign up now, and we're going to make sure that we might have all 10 spots filled today. That'd be super cool and super awesome for Alexis. But if we don't, then we'll wait until we get all 10 slots filled. And but I do think you're going to sell because you're sharp. So you're going to get all those 10 slots filled. So what would it feel like, Alexis, for you to have 10 children?
That would be great. Awesome.
I'd
be super happy.
That's super exciting. So next week, he would start the Youngpreneur program. We'll send a link from our company. We're really overseeing everything for Alexis. We have our team that's created all of the information, the websites, and everything. Super nice product, and you'll get an email so that next week your children have access to the videos, and then you can start knowing how to schedule the appointments so that Alexis can call them. Okay? Hey, Eduardo, thank you so much for joining us. We're talking about how to raise a young entrepreneur. We're almost done with this call. We've been live for about an hour and 15 minutes, but we would encourage you that as soon as we close this, you go back and you watch it from the beginning, because we've talked about how you can raise a young entrepreneur, and Alexis is now offering the ability for 10 children to join him in the Youngpreneur program. Okay, that's a 3-week program. Actually, it's going to end up being 5 weeks, but 3 weeks of modules with calls to support your children in becoming young entrepreneurs from ages 7 to 16 years old. This is going to be perfect for them. All right, so go to shirleysolis.com/youngpreneur. shirleysolis.com/youngpreneur, and do your homework. Find out what it takes, what you're going to get in that program. It's an amazing investment. Alexis is going to be mentoring your children one-on-one to teach them how to be young entrepreneurs. So thank you so much, you guys. Alexis, do you have any last words here?
No, I think that's it.
That's
thank you guys.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. You take care. It was great spending this time with you. Support Alexis and support your children in becoming young entrepreneurs. All right? Bye-bye, you guys. Hold on here.